policies, a bill passed through Congress and signed into law. I just want you to name your favorite Trump bill that was passed through Congress and signed into law, bro. Come on.
As of right now, I would say it is mass deportation, but I'll have to research all of the sources that
but
you
you
cited.
conceded on that earlier, bro.
No, I conceded that given what you said is true, then I would agree. But I'm just not sure what you said is true. I'd have to do my own research. Like the fact that you say something is true.
How about this? Is there literally anything that Trump as a person could do that would make you stop supporting him as president?
No, because he's already literally the worst person alive. Like literally,
Okay.
he is like, listen, he's already like the bottom of the barrel.
So if he raped 500 children and then did a press conference from the Oval Office saying, keep your child away from me or I'm going to rape them too, you would still support him as president?
No, no, but listen.
Oh, okay. So there's like some things that he could do that would, as a person, that would make you stop supporting him as president. Okay. So then articulate what that thing is. Like what are a couple of things that he could do that make you stop supporting him as president?
Listen, like I feel like you just picked a really extreme case, and I know what you're gonna say. Wait, let me speak,
I know. The reason why I picked an incredibly extreme case was to prove that you were being disingenuous in your last response. That there's nothing he could do that make you stop supporting him as president. So I'm just asking you to articulate like a list of things that he could foreseeably or reasonably do that make you stop supporting him as president.
But could he reasonably rape 500 kids? Is that reasonable to you? I don't think that's reasonable. So
bro, I literally just said that I named a hyper extreme thing to get you to understand why you're being bad faith when you said there's nothing that he could do.
So there's nothing reasonable, or like, not that I say rape is reasonable, but there's nothing in the realm of possibilities that he could do. Yes.
There's
in terms of personality.
In the realm of possibilities that we could do. So do you think it's like in the realm of possibilities that he would like try to literally like kill his political opponents?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, maybe.
So if he literally tried to kill his political opponents, you would
if I believe that his policies would be good for hundreds of millions of people, then I would always vote for him, even if he's a horrible, vile person.
Okay.
And he is a horrible, vile person.
So what policy is good for hundreds of millions of people?
Wait. Can I please, just for a second, ask you a question? Listen.
I want you to... No, I'm investigating the last thing you said. You said, if his policy is so good for hundreds of millions of people, like, you're going to support him. Okay. So name the Trump policy that is good for hundreds of millions of people.
I think the fact that he saved hundreds of people in Israel from literal Hamas captivity is pretty good.
You go from hundreds of millions to hundreds. Yeah, bro. Do you agree that there's a difference between hundreds of millions and hundreds?
Yeah, but it still impacts.
Yeah, bro. Do you agree that the last thing you said is that his policy is good for hundreds of millions of people?
I think that we should give time. I think that, for example,
can you just name the Trump policy that's good for hundreds of millions of people?
I think that taking the enriched uranium from Iran, or at least trying to dismantle their ability and capabilities to build a nuclear weapon, is good for everyone in America because it protects them. Because I feel like Iran having...
Okay, so if it was false that he tried to dismantle their nuclear capabilities, but rather tried to give them nuclear capabilities, would you still support him as president?
Yes, because of Israel.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. What if he, Alani, thank you so much for the galaxy. Would you still support Trump because of Israel if Donald Trump unilaterally and unequivocally destroyed the American economy to the extent where like 25% of us were in poverty? Like, I'm talking like Great Depression.
No.
Okay.
Because then the harm being done to Americans would be greater than the good being done to Israelis. And that would make no sense.
So demonstrate the good that Donald Trump is doing for Israelis that outweighs the harm of infringing upon 66 million American women and girls' human rights.
Yes. So I think that he's basically... Like, I feel like that if Trump wasn't in office, there would be no Israel. Like, I feel like that Israel was in a war for its existence, and I think that there would be no country, and that would affect 10 million people.
Holy shit. You know, she's trying to out-Zionist the Zionists. Bro, listen, you understand that... you understand that Kamala Harris was a Zionist, too. I wish she wasn't. Oh my God, your argument was that she wasn't enough of a Zionist?
Yes, she was.
No name. Thank you so much for the galaxy. Holy shit, that's crazy. Kamala Harris was a lukewarm Zion.
Yes. She was a casual Zionist. I need someone who lives that life to like the max extent.
That was literally like my least favorite thing about Kamala Harris.
I'm sure.
By a mile was her support for Israel. My least favorite thing about Kamala Harris by a mile was the fact that she was a Zionist. Okay, because I'm staunchly anti-Zionist. I just disagree with ethnostates. I disagree with the concept of ethnostates.
Do you disagree with America? Because America is a Christian country.
Of ethnostates. Okay, A, being Christian isn't an ethnicity, and B, if being Christian was an ethnicity, and our Constitution said we were a Christian country, you fucking bet I'd be against that. 110%. Like, are you
all of
joking?
Your examples on why
Kelly, thank you so much for the galaxy.
Why Israel is
are you fucking joking?
It's just the most casual racism that's happening in America. Like, you're talking about Arab communities. Wait, no.
Buddy, it says it in the Constitution.
You're interrupting me.
No. What is the 2018 nation state law?
In Israel or in America?
In Israel.
That it's a Jewish country.
Is being Jewish an ethnicity?
Yes, but you have to separate.
Okay, this means it's an ethnic country. Wait, do you agree? No. 1 second. Do you agree that the term state is a synonym for the term country?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so let's just get this straight. Let me just lead you down a very simple and easy to follow deductive syllogism. Do you know what a deductive syllogism is?
I can infer from context.
Okay. So let me just give you a very simple deductive syllogism. Okay, you accept that it is true that Israel self-defines as a Jewish country. You accept that it is true that being Jewish is/can be an ethnicity. And then you accepted that it is true that country is a synonym for state. So in other words, you therefore accept that it is true that it is an ethnic state.
But all of your examples on why it's bad in practice.
No. I want a response. I want a response to the deductive syllogism that I just gave you. I either want you to accept the conclusion formed or reject one of the premises of the deductive syllogism. I don't want you to talk about anything outside of accepting the conclusion that was formed or rejecting one of the premises of the deductive syllogism.
I completely agree that Israel is a country based on like ethnicity. Of course, that's why they needed to make it in the first place. Yes, but let me make my point. Give me a second. That's not fair. Let me make my point. Okay, that's not fair.
Would it still be an ethno-state for Jewish people if it was 51% Arab?
In my eyes, yes.
Would it still be an ethno-state for Jewish people if it was 60% Arab?
It depends on the government, because if Israelis and Jews had the right to practice Judaism to like the max extent, do all their beliefs and blah 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 in complete peace, then yes, I believe that would be totally fine, and I wouldn't care if it's 90% Arabs. So you think that an ethno-state just
Jews means like that ethnicity practicing their beliefs in complete peace?
No, I just think that that's what we need, like, for Israel. But the thing is,
that's just completely no. That's what you just told me. You would take it to be. That's what you would take a Jewish state to be. A Jewish state is a state where Jewish people can practice their beliefs in peace. Correct?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so do you agree that we could hypothetically conceive of a country where all of the legislators of the country are non-Jewish and Jewish people only account for 0.00001% of the population, yet those Jewish people can, there's literally like one Jewish person in the entirety of the country, but that one Jewish person in the entirety of the country can practice their religion in peace? Would you consider that to be a Jewish ethno-state?
No, of course not, but I would consider it to be.
Oh, wait, but you just said that your only necessary criteria to define what a Jewish ethno-state would be Jewish people practicing their religion in peace.
I said to define what a Jewish state is, not a Jewish ethno-state. Like, I don't understand what adding the word ethno is doing for you in that sentence.
Because you accepted that Jewish is an ethnicity. So it has nothing to do with the ethno aspects of being Jewish, just the cultural and religious aspects of being Jewish. So in this country,
but the thing is, all the negative impacts that you have.
So let's assume that in China there's like 3 billion people, okay? And in China there's only one Jewish person, and the entirety of the country represented by constituted of
no, it would not be a Jewish ethno-state.
Would it be a Jewish state though? Would it just be a Jewish state?
No, of course not. It would be China.
Wait, why? But you just told me that one Jewish person is practicing their religion in peace.
I think. Wait, listen. Can I get 60 seconds to just speak?
Yeah, at the latter end of your 60 seconds, please redefine what a Jewish state is. Now that you've accepted that an insufficient account of what a Jewish state is just a state where Jewish people can practice their religion in peace.
I will. Okay. So all the negative impacts that you have outlined to why it's bad that Israel is a Jewish ethno-state are literally happening in any other places in the world, and it's just racism. Racism sucks, it's fucking horrific, and it's horrible, but every single place in this world has racism. America has racism. And if I told you, wait, just because, some Black communities are underfunded, does that mean that, America is an apartheid state? You would probably say, no, that's stupid. Just because certain places in, Arab communities are underfunded doesn't mean that Israel is this evil state that you're talking about. Now let me talk about the definition. Wait. Now let me talk about, how I define a Jewish state. I believe that the importance of having a Jewish state is just so Jews could practice their religion to the fullest extent. And to the fullest extent...
You're equivocating, you're dodging, you're pivoting, you're running away, you're changing the question. The question
I have
is not,
16 more seconds. Can you give me 16 seconds?
The question was not,
you cannot speak
what's
for
the importance
16
of a Jewish state? The question was, what is a Jewish state?
A Jewish state is a state with where the laws are created by Jews, by Jews, to benefit everyone equally, but the laws, for example, the laws can take into account Jewish beliefs as long as it's equal. So I'll give you an example. We can make, for example, a national.
Wait, I don't want an example yet. I just want a firm definition that I could write down to understand what you mean.
Was that not firm?
State.
Was that not firm?
You started talking about the definition, but then you started talking about how we would apply this in practice. So the definition of a Jewish state is where Jewish people make laws.
Yes.
Okay. Do you accept that there are some Jewish legislators in America?
At that point, America is almost a Jewish state, how much AIPAC money you guys are taking.
Do you accept that there are some Jewish legislators in America across the country?
Yes.
So it's true that in America, some Jewish people make laws. Is America, therefore, by definition, a Jewish state?
No, but if 90% of them make...
Okay, so it has to be what? A majority of legislators? A super majority of legislators?
Yeah, 65%.
So it has to be a super majority of legislators. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that it would be wrong in America if we enshrined it in our Constitution that over 65% of our legislators have to be white so we could adequately and properly represent the interests of white people?
Yeah, you're completely ignoring the context in which Israel was built.
I just want to know yes or no.
Yes.
So that'd be wrong.
But you're ignoring the context.
Okay,
yes, it would be
perfect.
Wrong.
So
you can't compare them.
In fact, so it would be wrong to have a requirement that 65% of our legislators have to be white. So, I'll just say, therefore, it's also wrong, for there to be any ethno requirement for the state or the ethnicity of the legislators of the state, because I believe in multiculturalism and I believe in freedom of opportunity. I disagree with systemically enshrined in Constitution disparaging the opportunity of non-Jewish individuals from becoming legislators predicated on their ideals, on their policies, on their interests, and their effective productivity as leaders. I think it is fundamentally wrong to the core to suggest that we should rather treat the inalienable characteristics of people, such as their ethnicity, as a necessary prerequisite for benevolent propagation of legislation. I'm not going to look at somebody's ethnicity when I'm trying to determine if they're a good leader. I'm rather going to look at what are their values, what are their ideals, are they a virtuous individual, do they want other people to be virtuous individuals, and I just find that fundamentally terrible.
Yes or no question. If the majority of people in Israel were to elect an Arabic party, which there are many of course, because they can legally run equally, would they then be presidents and Israel would still be a Jewish state? Would you agree with that? That they can get elected and Israel would still be...
Based on your definition of what a Jewish state is, no.
But based on your definition.
We're not talking about... We're not talking about what my
definition.
One moment. We're not talking about what my definition of a Jewish state is. We're talking about what your definition of a Jewish state is. So now if you're attempting to shift the burden of investigation from yourself to me, well, then you're just running away from my argument because you're horrified of being proven wrong.
I don't think I'm horrified of being proven wrong.
Okay. Well, I think that's the only explanation that explains why you're running away.
I don't think I'm running away. I think you're asking me questions that don't take into account the context in which Israel was built. You're comparing it to America, but it can't be compared to America. Because when Israel was made, then everyone who's coming to Israel had just gone through the Holocaust. And they knew that it was the only place in the entire world where they could be safe, where they could practice their religion peacefully. And for you to go and say, oh, this is equivalent
that's not the Jewish people practicing their religion peacefully. I think that anti-democratic processes are not peaceful by nature. Okay, and I think that it's an anti-democratic process. I think that it's an anti-democratic process for a state such as Israel to pass a nationality law that specifically states Israel is bound to Jews to fulfill their needs. How about this? Do you agree? I'm in the middle of speaking. I think that it's anti-democratic for literally any state to pass a law that says that state is bound to Jews and to fulfill their needs, bound to any ethnic group to fulfill their needs,
bound
I would
disagree.
to any race to fulfill their needs, bound to any gender to fulfill their needs.
Yes.
It is anti-democratic because it is the legal creation and exclusion of a minority. And what happens when you legally create and exclude a minority is then that minority is hurt. There's not one instance throughout all of human history that you could point towards where a country has legally created and excluded a minority group from being a legislator or from having their needs represented by the state that has yielded productive, positive outcomes. Like, you are fighting tooth and nail for the creation of legal separation and exclusion of a minority group. That is what is bad. That is what is anti-democratic. That is what is harmful. And that is the necessary pre-component of Zionism that I absolutely disagree with.
But you agree with the free
Now, by the way, I'm gonna let you respond then I'm gonna move on because I want to talk to people that could at least try to give an argument why the rapist is a good president, not brain-rotted Zionists who just think that Jewish individuals should rule the world. It's just fucking ridiculous. Oh, there's no issue whatsoever with saying that we should create legally bounded, excluded minority classes where they should be subjugated out of the main priorities / interests of the states. They shouldn't be able to legislate. They shouldn't be able to run the country. They shouldn't be able to dictate the policy of the country. And by the way, earlier you talked about anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is a really fucking bad thing. Nobody should be anti-Semitic. But descriptively, the reason why some people are is because they're too low IQ to acknowledge a separation between Zionist Jewish individuals and non-Zionist Jewish individuals. And every time somebody like you, a Zionist Jewish individual, speaks about, how you just want non-Jewish people to be sequestered as the goyim and have no legislative power whatsoever in the state, and they should exist as a legally separated minority, well, then that idiot low IQ Nazi is like, this is actually representative of all Jewish individuals, therefore I should just hate all Jewish individuals. Zionism as an institution is a propagator of anti-Semitism. And if you truly want Jewish individuals to be able to practice their religion in peace, if you truly want Jewish individuals to be able to practice their religion freely, then stop endorsing mechanisms that manufacture anti-Semitism out of thin fucking air by advocating for an ethno-state in which legally sequesters and separates non-Jewish people from Jewish people. And by the way, when I say that, I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm not just speaking for a vast majority of people watching this live stream, because it's an undeniable fact that over 70% of people on the left under the age of 50 and 50% of the people on the right under the age of 50 detest Zionism and disavow the state of Israel. But I'm also speaking for a lot of Jewish individuals. And that's a point that I don't really care to make clear to you, but rather a point that I want to make clear to the audience. The woman on this live stream is not a monolith of all Jewish individuals. The woman on this live stream does not represent all Jewish individuals. And the woman on this live stream doesn't think the same way other Jewish individuals do. There are many, many, many Jewish individuals that fundamentally agree with the core tenets of freedom, equality, and democracy, and reject an ethno-state in which gives preferential treatment and attention to one ethnicity over another.
Okay, thank you so much.
Let's go and get the next guest up here. Only opposite side of the queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president, please and thank you. Here we go. I don't think that, I've really had that long and in-depth of a debate about Zionism before, so I guess it's maybe the first time a lot of people are seeing that for me. But I think that kind of explores why, I'm not a Zionist. I don't think I've ever gone in that depth on this live stream, literally ever, about why I am not a Zionist. But that conversation is why I am not a Zionist. Let's go and get the next guest up here. Only hop inside of the queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Donald J. Trump as president, please and thank you. We are just looking for some debates today. Here we go. If you do want to support me, by the way, if you want to support the live stream, if you want to help pay for the fucking therapy that I'm so clearly gonna need after that, guess, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio on my TikTok account. The pinned message on the YouTube stream, as well as the handle, is also at the top of the phone screen on TikTok as well. It's literally just my name, Dean Withers, without the letter E in my last name, Withers. By the fucking way, I better not see one more person on the internet say that I'm a Zionist, okay? I better not see one more person on the internet say I'm a Zionist. I've seen an increasing popularity in calling me a Zionist in like anti-Dean shit posts with like 50,000 likes. It is not true. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yeah. Sorry.
That's a child. Thank you for the $10 over on Super Chat. And Nissa, I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. As well as Elizabeth with the $10 who says, Dean, haven't we suffered her objectively skewed and brainwashed perspective long enough? Her mind isn't going to be changed, and she doesn't even understand how wrong she even is. Yeah, we did just end up kicking her, Elizabeth. Thank you for the $10. I want to see 100 Elizabeth W's. Thank you so much. As well as said, SED, appreciate you so much for the $50 over on Super Chat. I really appreciate you, SED. Let's get 500 SEDWs. That is a shit ton of money. I'm very, very thankful for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, SED. SED with a $50 says surveys of 2,600 US and Canadian men found that overall 95% reported having used calculated strategy to get a woman to have sex who they knew did not know sex, did not want sex. 65 resulted in successfully forcing the women into sex rape culture. Damn, bro. I'm gonna have to take a look into that study, because if that study is true, if you're accurately representing its findings, like that is 110% indicative of the broad prevalence of rape culture across the globe. Thank you so much for that reference, SED, and genuinely, I'm so very grateful for you. Thank you for the $50 donation. That is a lot of money, and I really do appreciate you a lot. Huge shout out to SED down below, as well as Fasid. Thank you for the $5 who says, hey Dean, good work on cooking that Zio. Thank you. Ben, thank you for the $10 who says she can understand the separation of church and state because she's already mastered a more impressive separation. Thought from speech. That's funny. Matt, thank you for the $5. I appreciate you. Alexander and AJ, thank you for the $5. Emma, thank you for the $10 who says, hey Dean, it's Emma and Ella. We are best friends and we watch you every day together. I hope you keep up the good work. You're changing our futures and we love you. Love you guys too. Thank you so much for the love and support, Emma and Ella. You guys are awesome. As well as Joseph, thank you so much for the $20 who says, Dean, did you see Tallarico's base move to leave the state so they couldn't hold a redistricting vote and Paxson issued an unenforceable warrant for him? I did not see that, but I fucking love I fucking love Tallarico, dude. As well as thank you for the Guardians pledge, Joseph. Let's get 300 Joseph W's in that chat. And then Anissa, thank you for the $17 who says, woke up sick this morning and came across your Surrounded video with Parker. Absolute rage bait, but gave me a good laugh. I know the Surrounded video that you're talking about. It was absolute rage bait, but I'm happy it did give you a laugh. And thank you for the $70. And then Joseph, I saw that message from an hour ago. Thank you so much. And then Ava with the $10 says, hey Dean, good luck with the trolls today. Thank you, Ava. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Lila, hello. Are you on the live? Hello? Okay, it doesn't look... Hi, do you support Trump? Okay, it looks like they're lagging out. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Only opposite side of the queue if you are here for a debate. On PayPal, Sparrow, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you for supporting the work that we do here, Sparrow. You're the absolute goat. Thank you, Sparrow. Let's get to it, our Sparrow W's. I appreciate you. Sparrow with the 20 says, hey, have you ever, would you ever voice a Homestruck character in a show? I don't know. I do voice acting if the opportunity was right. Sounds like something fun, I guess. Thank you for the $20, Sparrow. And then Michelle, thank you for the $20, who says it's been a minute since I've been here. I know that this is about politics, but I was wondering, what is your take on BTS not submitting their music to the Grammys? I don't really follow the BTS, so I wouldn't have a take, but I do appreciate you for the $20. Hugo, thank you for the $10. And then Laura, thank you for the $5. Shout out to you. Welcome in. Do you support Trump? Dylan?
Yep.
How old are you?
19.
I know the acoustics of the space that you're in. Please don't tell me that you're in the bath, Dylan.
No, I'm not.
He was on the shitter instead, bro. Come on, guys. What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing, actually, bro? What the fuck are we doing? Let's get real now. Keela, thank you for the $5 over on Super Chat, who says that Zionist really doesn't care about Americans. She only cares about Israel. She's clearly low IQ. Yeah, bro. Israel first. Let's go. Welcome in. Do you support Trump, Cray?
Yeah.
How old are you? All right, we're going to go find somebody serious to debate. Only hop inside of the queue if you are an American adult that supports Trump as president. Please and thank you. We got that next guest, Tony, loading in. Welcome in. Do you support Trump? Let's actually keep the running total of trolls running. So far, we're at 24 trolls. Let's go to get the next guest connected to the live stream. We got Republican Papa connecting. What a name, bro. Republican Papa, do you support Trump? Oh, they're loading in still. Faith, thank you for the $20 donation to the live stream on Super Chat. Thanks, Faith. Huge shout out to Faith. Let's get 200 Faith W's. Faith with the 20 says, question for you, Dean. Do you think that we're heading towards more of a cyberpunk future or more of a Fallout future? My boyfriend and I disagree, so I'm curious on your take. I don't know, man. I might have to go Fallout future, low-key. I might low-key. And then Delusion, thank you for the 10 Canadian dollars, who says, Dean, I'm loving the new lighting in your studio. The funniest thing is, Delusion, I just opened up the blinds on my window. That's all I did. And apparently, it's good. Knock, do you support Trump?
Yeah, I got a problem with it. Puss.
25 trolls. T, thank you for the $24 on Super Chat. Good to see you today, my friend. T says, trolls funding this dono thanks to the 24 trolls. Let's go. Let's go, WT. Let's fucking go, dude. Hell yes. Hell yes. So goated. We're making money off of the trolls. Hell yes. Show some love to T. And then Alex, thank you for the $50 donation on PayPal. God motherfucking damn, Alex. That is a shit ton of money. Thank you, dude. Let's get 500 Alex W's. Thank you so much. Alex with a 50 big ones says, hey, Dean, I got into a heated argument with my dad not too long ago and started watching you to better defend my beliefs. I appreciate your content and would like to find a collection of important sources and websites necessary to base an argument off of. That would be extremely helpful. I've had a lot of people tell me that they would like me to gather my sources into like one unified body. I that would take a lot of effort, but I think it's something that me and Parker should inevitably do. It'd be good. And then Alani, thank you for the galaxy. Welcome in, Kendrick. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, bro. That is 26 trolls. Let's go and get the next guest connected. 26 trolls. Looking for American adults that support Trump as president. Looking for American adults that support Trump as president. Quite frankly. Moving on to the next guest. We got K Cooks 0 loading into the queue. If you're like, hey, I like this Dean guy, I like what he does, and you want to support me, you want to support the live stream, you could find a link to my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in the bio of my TikTok account. You could also find the handle in the pinned comment on YouTube, and it's right there at the top of the phone screen on TikTok too. It's just my name, Dean Withers, without the letter E in Withers. But y'all gotta like quadruple check that at, because low-key there are so many fake scam and Dean Withers, Venmo, and PayPals out there. Best way to ask a question, though. Best way to get a message across. A lot of people use them to ask questions. Let's go to get the next guest connected. We got Jack loading in. Let's go and try to get the next guest up here, guys. It is taking a while. For real.
Hey, what's up, Dean?
Hey, welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, also, I need to say one thing before you say anything. Do you think you talk too much or what?
Yeah, bro. I'm a pro yapper.
Dude, I like that. That's awesome.
So how old are you?
I'm 18. How are you?
What year were you born in?
What year? Let's say 1900.
All right. 27 trolls. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go to get the next guest connected. It is true, bro. It is true that I'm a pro yapper. It is true, bro.
Oh, sorry, bro. Fuck! My bad.
28 trolls. 29 trolls. Only opposite of the queue if you're an American adult that supports Trump as president. What are we thinking for the big 30? Hey, do you support Trump? The big 30! Let's go! 30 trolls. Let me go ahead and update that. Hello, do you support Trump?
Yeah, you messed up with your intro about Mitch McConnell, by the way.
How so?
Yeah, so you pointed out questioning his ability to serve, but then when Joe Biden had signs of cognitive decline, you just covered your eyes and you closed your eyes and covered your ears. You guys didn't say shit. So it's inconsistency.
Dude, Mitch McConnell has literally been in the hospital, bedridden, and maybe dead for the last 50 days.
No, but
listen, bro. Wow. You could say that Biden was experiencing cognitive decline, but he wasn't like in the hospital and probably dead for 2 months during his term.
Okay, Dean, slow down. So point me to a video where Dean Withers addressed Joe Biden's cognitive decline. Because I can point you to one where Dean Withers addressed Mitch McConnell's questioning his ability to serve. But can you point me to?
He's in the hospital, maybe dead. Why would we not question his ability to serve? He hasn't shown up to work in 2 months. Just to clarify, did you know that most people who literally don't show up to work for 2 months lose their job?
Yeah, of course. Sooner than that.
Right. So when did Biden not show up to work for 2 months? Can you point me towards that period?
No, I'm unable to provide that. But what I am able to provide is that the fact that he had cognitive decline, and you guys just act like it didn't happen until it was too late. You know, it was just too late. And then also something else the FIFA soccer. No, it is absolutely. The FIFA Soccer World Cup also, you got called out because you said that they removed Trump from the picture. That's not true. Yeah. They just simply took the picture after he was out of frame. So could you clear that?
It actually is true that they did remove him from the picture, but they just removed him with the use of other means. Okay? Instead of like literally photoshopping him out, they just kind of cropped him out.
No, but that's not what you said in your pic. You see, look, here's the thing.
I know, slightly different. That is true. That's why I amended the caption.
So could you concede and admit that you accidentally put out misinformation? It wasn't nefarious.
Bro. I was wrong when I said that they photoshopped him out and said they cropped him out. True.
And that's why we respect you. That was consistent. I appreciate that concession. I do appreciate that, honestly. Yeah.
Now, can you concede that violent sexual predators probably shouldn't be president?
Most definitely. Absolutely. But
is Trump a violent sexual predator?
I could see the argument for that.
No, I'm not asking you if you could see the argument for the claim. I'm asking you if the claim is true. Wow.
I understand the argument you're going
Well, I'm not asking you for the argument for the claim. I'll say that for a second time now, bro. Let me be so incredibly clear here. There's just no way that you could possibly confuse the question that I'm asking you. The question that I'm asking you is, do you think that the claim that Donald Trump is a violent sexual predator is true or false?
You would have to ask Tara Reid, who actually said Biden was. So you would have to ask Tara Reid.
Okay. So I can ask you. So you're not here to debate. So you're not here to tell us if you believe or you don't believe that Trump is a violent sexual predator. You're here to pivot. You're here to dodge. You're here to hit the marathon. You're here to hit the jog. You're here to hit the sprint. You're here to hit the 300-meter dash.
So you're here
to hit the state record on Strava. Okay, you're here to hit the global speed record for the 500-meter sprint.
He's crashing out.
Okay, but I just want to clarify, you're not here to tell us if you do or don't believe that it's true that Donald Trump is a violent sexual predator, right?
I understand the argument. Now, me personally, if you're asking my personal opinion, I don't believe that. I couldn't support someone like that ever.
Oh, okay, but you don't believe. Okay, okay. So I'm going to give you my argument that he's a violent sexual predator. You know what? In fact, I'll let Trump give it to you himself.
Imagine it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. Right. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Yeah.
Lydia, thank you for the $10 on Venmo. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I do agree with that statement. Let's get 100 Lydia W's. Catherine, thank you for the $5. And Abby, thank you for the $5 who says you're awesome, Dean. Thank you. Ava, thank you for the $5. I would debate your dad tomorrow. Let's line that up. And then Taylor, thank you for the $5. She says, don't know if this is you, but I'm a fan that you got the right one. And I appreciate you. Thank you. And then Lori, thank you for the 10 Canadian dollars over on PayPal. She says, creating a Discord of all the resources would be fantastic. Good idea, Lori. And then thank you for the $14 on PayPal. He says, hope your allergies are better today. They're a little bit better today. I cleaned the office yesterday. I appreciate you for the $14 and let's get 140 in W's. Thank you for supporting what we do, and I hope that answered your question. Lori.
Yeah, so Dean Withers, this argument is fucking trash, and you've come up with better arguments. Now you've said, I've heard you say that Donald Trump has told over 30,000 lies. You've said that on your stream multiple times.
True.
You said that. Yeah. So you've come up with better arguments. But yeah, so to address this though, when he says that he had all this, that his property was worth all this money, come to find out in reality, it wasn't actually worth that much money. You know, when he says, I'm going to do all this, come to find out, he didn't really actually mean that. So when he's on Howard Stern and he says, I did all this, come on now, you know he didn't really do that, Dean. You understand the argument.
Oh, okay.
You see the argument. You see the argument.
Can I ask you a clear reason? A clear question?
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Go ahead.
Do you agree that when people lie, they lie for a reason?
Yeah, they have a motive, yeah.
Okay. So what was the reason Trump lied about this?
No, I wouldn't be able to tell you why, but it's the same reason why he lied about those other 30.
Okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
Slow down.
See, the thing is whenever we evaluate any other one of Trump's lies, like we could very clearly identify the motive to lie. Like, why did he lie about the valuation of his properties too big to get tax relief? Okay. Why did he lie about the 2020 election to attempt to stay president? Why did he lie to his wives and not tell them that he cheated on them to stay with those wives because he wanted to be in a relationship with them? Okay. And when we fail to identify the reason why Trump lied, okay, about telling Howard Stern that he'd engage in sexual violence directed towards other women and girls, this is maybe a reason that counts in favor of the claim that he didn't fucking lie. And you know what? I will make that one clear. Okay. I have never, ever seen another clip of a man sitting down on a podcast jokingly telling the host of that podcast that they have engaged in sexual violence directed towards women and girls when in all reality they haven't, because that benefits no one. That doesn't benefit the person telling the lie. It doesn't make them look better. It makes them look worse. It doesn't benefit the reputation of the person telling the lie for the same reason that we just went over. People don't lie about engaging in sexual violence when the claim is that they did lie about engaging in sexual violence. I agree that we'll be able to find a billion clips of people saying that they didn't rape somebody when they did. I agree that there's probably also some clips out there of people saying that they did rape the person when they actually did. But I mean, just the suggestion that a reasonable person who hasn't engaged in sexual violence would lie and say that they have when in all reality they haven't is just fucking preposterous. Okay. And I mean, we could validate my claim here by just looking at the victim testimony of the women and girls that were at these pageants. What did they say? They said he did it. They said he did it. They said that he barged into their dressing rooms when they didn't have any clothes on, and he would look at their naked bodies.
Yeah, so there's a couple issues with your argument. So you would have to first off claim that all 30,000 of his lies, some of them are true and some of them aren't. What do you mean? Because you've made a bold claim in the past that he told 30,000 lies, and that doesn't sit well with this argument. I
already explained to you how it does sit well with this argument. And you're just avoiding confronting that fact.
No. Because I understand your point. You're saying that certain because you can't identify a reason in which why he would have lied about this. So are you saying that all 30,000 lies he told the truth with some of them, but he didn't with others?
No, bro. It's self-implied in the fact that they're lies that he didn't tell the truth.
So when it's a lie that furthers your narrative and hurts his image, then you're going to. When it's a statement that helps your narrative and furthers damaging Trump's credibility and reputation, then you're going to push it. But when it's one that doesn't really matter, you just kind of neither here nor there, don't care. I
already explained this to you. You agree that people lie for a reason. Okay, so therefore, if we want to determine if somebody's lying about a statement, the first move should be to attempt to identify a motivation or a reason for telling the lie. And then we move to the fact that we can't identify a motivation or a reason for Trump telling this lie. And then I gave you an inductive argument that he definitely didn't lie due to the fact that I can't find any other clip of anybody on the internet that claimed that they engaged in sexual violence when in all reality they didn't, because that's just simply not something that people lie about. And then I went on to give you third order justification that it was true, rooted in the testimony of 15 women and girls that competed at different pageants in different years, but all had the same consistent testimony, which was that he did exactly what he told Howard Stern he would. He would barge into their dressing rooms and look at their naked bodies. You are just a low IQ pedo defender, okay?
No,
you can't tell the difference between your right hand and your left hand, and you have absolutely no reason to believe that he lied, and I've now demonstrated that a total of 4 times, but I'm helping now with me repeating everything that I just said for a 5th time. You'll actually be able to track the argument.
Yeah, and I understand that was actually a good argument, good position. If he did actually truly 100% do that, then I wouldn't support him, because my mother has been exploited, my sister has been exploited. I know too many women that's
okay.
happened.
So do you accept that we've given you justification to believe that it happened?
No, Dean, slow down, because I think he was just on an entertainment show and he was trying to say some wild shit.
Find me one other man that went on an entertainment show and claimed to have engaged in sexual violence when in all reality they didn't. Find me one other clip, because now you're just, dude. Okay, when you joined the stream, we had 35,000 viewers. Now we have 30.3 thousand viewers. Why? Because you've spent the last 15 minutes fucking repeating yourself. You have provided no substance to anything you've said the entire time you've been up here. The moment you joined, you said, oh, well, he actually lied when he went on Howard Stern's radio show. Now, 15 years later, you're just repeating that you think he lied when he went on Howard Stern's radio show. I've given you so much substance. I've given you so much fucking reason to believe that you're wrong. I've given you all of the evidence in the world why, insofar as why the suggestion that you're making is unreliable and false. What do you have in response? Dean, I hear you out, but nah, I think he lied. So when are we going to hear the substance? When are we going to hear the reasoning? When are we going to hear the argumentation? When are we going to hear the refutation of the argument that I provided? When are we going to hear anything beyond the one claim that you've just simply been repeating since a moment you joined, which is no more complex than he lied?
No, because when Dave Chappelle goes on a joke, he might say some offensive shit, but he's not a bad person. When Eminem goes on a rap beat and he says some ridiculous shit, he's not a bad person.
Now you're obfuscating. I asked you to name one other man who sat down on a podcast and claimed to have engaged in sexual violence when in all reality they didn't. And then your response is, oh, well, I could think of people that have made offensive jokes. Okay, bro, I'm not asking you to name one other man that made an offensive joke. I'm asking you to name one other man that sat down on a podcast and told the host of the podcast that he raped, violated, or exploited somebody when in all reality they didn't.
Yeah, no, I'm unable to provide that. I'm unable to.
Oh, okay. So as far as you know, as far as you know, like, this is one of the only examples that we could think of a man telling a lie about engaging in sexual violence. Okay, well, that fact on its own indicates that maybe he wasn't lying, because if it's generally not something that people do because there's no motivation to do it, this means for Trump there was no motivation to do it, meaning that maybe he wasn't telling a lie, maybe he wasn't doing it. Okay, but then when we also consider the fact that we had like 15 women and girls testify to the fact he did do it, corroborating his admission of guilt, okay, case closed. He did do it, he wasn't lying, he wasn't joking. Now you should concede your support for Trump, because that definitely makes him a violent sexual predator.
Yeah, at this point, I gotta sit back and let it soak in, because that's a lot to make a decision on the spot. I gotta sit back and let it marinate and think about it. I gotta give it some time. I'm just that's a lot of information to take in at one time. I do appreciate the conversation though, Dean Withers. I do appreciate it, man.
One last conversation I have before you leave. When did you ever demonstrate the same hesitancy with actually coming to support Trump? Like, were you ever hesitant coming to support Trump?
No. Well, Trump, it was like a
exactly. You just saw him on the TV. A light went off in your head, and you just accepted everything he said with no fucking reason.
No, that's not true.
To overlook all the bad things that he did.
That's a straw man. He proved himself. He fought an uphill battle and he won. And so that was
he proved himself by winning the election, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right, yeah. Literally, like, your critical thought processes as it relates to why you support Trump is, Trump won election. Your critical thought processes as it relates to rejecting your support for Trump are, well, Dean, I have to explore all the nuance of these very complex ideas. I have to question my own skepticism and engage in global skepticism by relaying these fringe notions that maybe he was lying.
Hold on, Dean, slow down,
because all of the evidence in the world that he wasn't lying. I just have to sit here and digest for ever about all the testimony of these women and girls, and I just really have to think this thing through like incredibly hard, much harder than any reasonable human would have to. And that's the issue. No. You uphold a very unequal standard of evidence as it relates to accepting the belief that Trump is a good president, as it relates to rejecting the belief that Trump is a good president. I just think it's indicative of cult-like behaviors.
Dean, so even you've experienced misinformation, people saying bullshit about you on TikTok, and so if someone were to come across some Dean Withers new information, you wouldn't want them to just take and run with it. Obviously, you wouldn't want them to do their own research and come to find out that might not be true.
I played you a clip of Trump admitting to it. I'm not just making the claim that Trump did this. I'm giving you the evidence that Trump did this. I played you the clip.
Yeah, no, I know, and that's why I said I have to sit back and think about it. You want me to make a decision on the spot, on the fly. So just
go think about it. You left. Just go think about it, bro. Just go think about it long and hard. Think about it all day long. Llama, thank you for the 10 euros over on Super Chat, who says, at some point in the future, All of the court documents and documents relating to Trump will be public knowledge. His defenders will look very stupid for not seeing the obvious. Oh, yeah. Thank you for the 10 euros. I appreciate you. Let's get 100 llama W's. That's very kind of you. Landon Waters, do you support Trump?
Used to.
Hey, man. Good to hear that you don't anymore. We love that. We love that. Show some love to Landon down below. Changing his mind. That's awesome. Let's go to get the next guest connected. Only up inside of the queue if you are here for a debate. If you want to support me, if you want to support the show, you could find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in the bio of my TikTok account. Pin message on YouTube, and the handle's at the top of the phone screen on TikTok right there. It's just my name, Dean Withers, without the letter E in my last name, Withers. That is the very, very best way to ask me a question. That is the very, very best way to show support to the show. Let's go to get the next guest connected. We got Mike loading up. On Venmo, B, appreciate you for the $5, who says, my son Elliot told me to send you this. Well, shout out to you and your son. I appreciate you, B. Thank you. As well as Lydia, thank you for the $5. Harper, thank you for the $5. Mia, thank you for the $3. And Carson, thank you for the $10. I will not be reading that one out loud, Carson. You tried to get me, but you won't be able to get me. You tried to get me, but you won't be able to get me, Carson. That's right, buddy. That's right. Let's go to get the next guest up here. Looking for the next debate right now. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Charlie Kirk, I'm Kirking it.
Falcon Man, thank you for the $10 over on Super Chat, who says, what's your favorite food, Dean? I like Latin American cuisine. I think that Latin American cuisine remains on top. On top, undoubtedly. Just a girl, thank you for the $10, who says, Dean, love your debates. I'm currently fighting depression, and your streams have been able to help a lot. Oh, I'm so happy that the streams have been able to help. I'm really happy that the streams have been able to help. Genuinely, I'm very, very happy. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. Hell yes. Hell yes. Hell yes, indeed. H, thank you for the $20 donation on PayPal. Yo, appreciate you, H. As well as Anastasia, thank you for the Galaxy. Dude, show some love to H down below for the $20. H with the 20 says, I'm a woman from the UK and I appreciate you. As a member of the LGBTQ+ community and a human being, Trump scares me. By speaking out, you are helping us all. Me and my wife, stand with you. Me and my wife to be stand with you. What would you say to people who are scared at the moment? No. Honestly, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Is what I'd say to people who are scared at the moment. Because there is, okay? There's a way to get out of this. We just need to work together, okay? The people have to stand together. Let's go to get the next guest up here. Only up inside of the queue, the happen to be an American adult that supports Trump. By the way, guys, when I said me and my wife to be, I was reading off a message from somebody on PayPal. Maybe I didn't make that clear enough, but that was just a message. How old are you, Jess?
22.
Okay, what year were you born in?
2003.
Why did you laugh like that?
I just have one question. Sorry, I just have one question.
Bro, why did you laugh like that?
I do support Trump. That's my laugh. So my question is, why do you sit here and vape on camera and act like you don't? You literally said 30 billion times that you dropped your fucking vape.
I don't know why they left. Maybe they got banned by the DOA. That's the DOS. That's going to be the terms of service, but the DINA service agreement for misinformation, because they were just so clearly peddling lies. You know, shout out to TikTok for banning their account for violating the DOS, because that was absolutely just misinformation. I don't vape. I've never vaped. I will never vape. That is a gateway. Okay? I'm just simply hitting my anxiety pin and my anxiety juice. It's called lavender and caramel. How about you get a fucking brain? Builder Bob, do you support Trump?
Yes.
How old are you?
19.
Birthday, please.
Like, on the whole, like day and everything. 2008, 14th February.
Boom, banned. Seconds, thank you for the $20 dono on Super Chat. I appreciate you, Seconds. That is very kind of you, quite frankly. Thank you for the love and support. Show some love to Seconds down below. Who says, sorry, Dean, but I'm happy with this troll trend of MAGA idiots taking a bath. Probably the first time they've gone out of the basement to bathe. You know, I was actually thinking about something similar. Like, at least this particular troll trend is influencing people to clean themselves. You know, much better than the We Are Charlie Kirk bullshit. Cam, do you support Trump?
Yeah.
How old are you, Cam?
27.
Okay, appreciate you for being here. Let me thank a couple people, then the mic to the floor will be yours. Nicholas, thank you for the $10 dono on Venmo. Shout out to Nicholas in that comment section. Nicholas with a 10 says, hopefully the decrease in MAGA debaters and increase in trolls proves that we are winning this war. I think it does. I think it absolutely does. Thank you for the $10, Nicholas. Huge shout out to you down below. Thank you. As well as Goblin, thank you for the $10, who says, I don't know how this works, but you are so cool, bro. Me and my dad love your views from Australia, videos from Australia. My dad loves American politics. Well, it sounds like I would prefer people maybe, agree with the Australians compared to the Americans right now, because at least some Australians have a good head on their shoulders, reject Trump, think he's crazy. We love that. Then over on PayPal, thank you, Maria, for the $10, who says, thanks for all the Magateers. Keep up that good fight. Thanks, Maria. I'll try my best. And Felix with a 5 says, Dean, your shirt is so cool. Thank you, Felix. And then Amy with a 5, who didn't leave an attached message. Why don't you go ahead and take it away, Cam, and tell us why you support the worst president of your life?
I just think it was better to vote for him versus, the other.
The woman. Yeah. Do you think that men are better at leading than women, or do you have actual reason why he was specifically a better candidate than Kamala Harris?
Honestly, I really didn't start paying attention to politics until Joe Biden was the president. And, I've worked with elderly in an old folks home, and it was very apparent to me that we were being lied to by our government the whole entire presidency, just about. And I couldn't vote for somebody who lied to us for 4 years straight.
That's funny. How many lies do you think Trump told in his first 4 years?
Definitely he's not the most moral man. Definitely not the most moral person I've ever met in my life, but I've never met him, but you know what I mean. Sorry, 1 second. He could have better qualities about himself, but I don't regret voting for him at all.
Because you think that he lied less than Kamala Harris?
Not just, well, yeah, probably. And I feel like he's more real than...
Okay. What do you think the biggest lie that Kamala Harris ever told was?
That Joe Biden was fine and that we were being...
Was fit to serve.
Was fit to serve, yeah. There you go.
Okay. So let me tell you the biggest lie that Trump has ever told. Okay? He raped a woman and said he didn't. And he lost an election and said he didn't. Okay, those are the two biggest lies that I think Trump has ever told. He tried to convince everybody that he won the 2020 election when in all reality he lost. And he's tried to convince everybody that he didn't rape E. Jean Carroll when in all reality he did. Okay. I think on those... one moment. Okay. I think on the face value, those two lies are significantly much more of a detriment to the fabric of this nation, both legally and socially and morally, compared to Kamala Harris if it was true that she did lie when she said that Biden was fit to serve. But even Kamala Harris's claim that Biden was fit to serve is left up to individualistic interpretation. Maybe all that she meant by that is Biden is fit to serve in the sense that he's going to be able to make it to the end of his 4 years without dying or being unable to govern the country for multiple days or multiple months. And that's true. Okay, he was able to fulfill the essential and necessary criteria of the executor of the executive branch of our government because he was able to represent us as the president. He was able to wake up every day and do his duties, like passing policy and influencing bills through Congress, meaning that it's possible that Kamala Harris didn't lie. But you just can't say that same thing about the lies that Trump told. They're not left up to any subjective interpretation. It's just false that he won the 2020 election. It's just false that he didn't rape E. Jean Carroll. And those lies are obviously significantly more detrimental to the nation and the fabric of the country.
Okay, so I'm really not going to get into the whole rape scenario because you're not going to like my opinion on it. But do you really think somebody is fit to serve the nation if they're just going to be alive for the next couple of years?
Well, idealistically, no. But can they fulfill the bare essential qualities required, especially in a time of great political discourse? Yes. Like Biden was sufficient.
No, not in my opinion.
Okay.
And
well, then why was the country better under him compared to today under Trump?
I will say there were less wars, and that's something Trump ran on. Was
the economy was better. And by the way, it's like anything that you could like indicate to us about Biden being like of like a negative mental state and not fit to serve would also apply to Trump. Like, oh, like stumbling in his speeches and just saying wild shit. Okay, yeah, Trump does that too. Remember the whole...
But like, he's always been like that. Biden was not like that. If you look past, you know, in the past of him speaking, it's a different person.
Okay, so you're saying that Biden over the ages became incoherent and then Trump has always been incoherent?
No, but Trump has never strayed from his true self. He's just being himself. Even if that is a little wild.
Okay, so Trump is... So you think that Trump is being...
Did you ever watch his reality show?
So Trump is just being his true self. Okay, well then it seems like his true self just shouldn't be in government because he's not directing our country in a positive way. He's really bad.
He is not. He's not a politician. You're 100% correct. He's not a politician. He never said he was really a politician.
Okay, how about this? Let's just make it simple. Let's just make it simple. Okay. You told me that Kamala Harris's biggest lie was about Biden's mental state. I said, okay, let's assume that she was lying about that.
And no. That's not... Okay, and I will say, she said we had no border problem, and we definitely did.
Annie, thank you for the galaxy. Could you please give me the quote where Kamala Harris said, and I quote, we have no border problem? I don't believe she said that.
She did.
Give me a quote, please. Give me a source for that quote.
I mean, I'm sitting in my bed on my phone. You'd have to let me...
Okay, well then you're either going to have to like reference her biggest lie as something that I agree with you that she did or something that you could prove that she said.
I mean, she 1,000,000% said there's no border problem. I mean, there are videos of her saying that in a speech. Like,
I don't think so.
No problem.
If there wasn't a border problem, then we wouldn't have tried to influence a bipartisan border bill through Congress. Like, I just don't think she ever said that.
So you really think that she never said there's no problem, everything's fine at the border?
Because if she said that, if she believed that, then she wouldn't have run on border policy. In virtue of the fact that she ran on border policy,
she didn't though. Like
that's just not true. That's just not true. That's not true at all. But in virtue of the fact that she did run on border policy, is her acknowledging that there's a problem at the border? And now you're changing topics?
I'm not. I mean, I'm just bringing up. You said this.
I'll explain to you the way in which you're trying to change topics. I'm describing to you how I know that's not something Kamala Harris ever said because you can't give evidence she said it A, and Kamala Harris knew that there was a problem at the border or she wouldn't have run on border policy B. And then you're like, let's talk about how she governed over the border for 4 years. Like, okay, that's you changing the topic. So, okay, we're agreeing that her biggest lie was to say that Biden wasn't fit to serve.
Let's say she didn't say that. The biggest lie that Kamala Harris told. For 4 years, so you're admitting there was a problem.
Well, yeah, and we'll talk about that next. But anyways, so your biggest lie from Kamala Harris was that Joe Biden is unfit to serve. Okay, well, Donald Trump told a bigger lie about his claims to do with the outcome of the 2020 election and him denying the fact that he raped E. Jean Carroll.
Okay.
And it's because he told a bigger lie, and your ultimate standard for why you support Trump was that his opponent told a bigger lie than him, and you now acknowledge that that's false and the opposite is true. In fact, you're not a supporter of Trump.
I wouldn't say like I'm a big supporter, but I will say I don't regret who I voted for at the end of the day.
Why? He told bigger lies than Kamala Harris, and I thought that you were all about not wanting to lie.
Well, it's not just about lies. It's about being proud to be an American and putting your country first. And I just feel like the left is very anti that, and you can't change my mind on that.
How?
How are they anti-American?
Yeah.
I just feel like their policies don't really put Americans first, and they want you to rely on the government, and I don't think that's right. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but bruh, I'm not a debater. I can't even believe I'm talking right now. Like, I'm just like telling you.
It's like hope.
As a middle class citizen,
I'm not like telling you that I expect you to be a debater. I'm not telling you that I expect you to be the most knowledgeable person of all time. But if you make the claim that the policy of the left is anti-American, I would expect you to be able to articulate why you think that, which would include you naming the policy.
Okay, I think they're anti-American, anti-woman, a true woman. Like, I can't even get into that. But I mean...
Is Trump anti-woman?
No, I would say he loves women.
He loves women even though he infringed on the human rights of 66 million of them with his ban on abortion?
I'm actually an ultrasound technician. I look at babies all day.
Okay.
And, you know, it is a baby.
So you think that abortion should be banned? Why?
No, I think it should be limited, very
Why?
limited.
Why?
Because it's a baby. Like, I look at them all
it's a
day.
baby.
They
You
put
look
their
at it.
fingers in their mouth. They jump
Okay.
around. Like, it is a baby.
They jump around and they like play around in there before they have the ability to
Yes.
deploy. Okay, like what in what trimester do they jump around?
9 weeks, 10 weeks. I would say
They don't even have developed limbs yet. They don't even have a brain.
Yes, they
yet.
do. How are you going to tell me? I look at them 24/7.
What are we talking about? Okay, so it's a baby at 9 weeks. Okay, so you're saying that it's wrong to kill it because it looks like a baby?
Yes.
Because of what it looks like? So if it didn't look like a baby at 9 weeks, then you'd be okay with killing it?
I mean, at 6 weeks, I mean,
So I just want to clarify, if it didn't look like a baby at 9 weeks, would you be okay with killing it?
I would say there needs to be a limit, and I would say 8 weeks is the limit for
Why?
myself.
Why is that where you draw the line?
Because it looks in it. I mean, it's a baby.
Okay, so you're
Like,
saying
you
that it's
can't
wrong to
tell me
kill the
it's
fetus
not.
because the fetus is a fetus. That's what we call a circular argument.
What does fetus mean in Latin? The famous Charlie Kirk quote.
Is this where you're gonna
Tiny
hit the really
human.
like awkward, like bad smile too?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, you said tiny human. Okay, so you think it's wrong to kill the fetus because it's a human. And then fetus means human. So in other words, you're arguing it's wrong to kill the human because it's a human. That's a circular argument.
It's a good argument.
The reason why it's not good is because it's circular.
No.
Yes.
No.
You're saying wrong to kill human because it's a human. What have I said?
Would you not agree?
Yeah, I don't agree with your argument. It's circular.
What if it was square?
An argument can't be square. Circularity is a conceptual tool that we use to describe arguments in which you believe that the conclusion of the argument is derivative from itself.
I promise you. I promise you.
It's true because it's true, or it's false because it's false.
Once you have a baby,
like check
if
this
you
out.
ever
Check
have a
this.
child-
Check this out. Okay, I want you to debunk the following argument. It's not wrong to kill a fetus because it's a fetus.
It's not wrong to kill a fetus because it's a fetus.
Yeah, bro.
I don't get it.
I want. That's my argument for why I'm pro-choice. Can you debunk that?
Okay, but my question is, how pro-choice are you? Are you pro-choice up till 30 weeks?
I just want you to debunk the argument, please.
Say it one more time, because
It's wrong to kill a fetus because it's a fetus. Sorry, it's not wrong to kill the fetus because it's a fetus. My bad.
It's not wrong. I don't agree because a fetus, there's so many there's so many stages it goes through, and it grows so incredibly fast.
Listen, bro, the way that you would debunk the argument that it's not wrong to kill the fetus is because it's a fetus is by pointing out the fact that that argument is circular. There's no explanatory power being granted within that position why you think that it's not wrong to do. There's no difference between saying that it's wrong to kill a fetus because it's a fetus, to saying that it's not wrong to kill a fetus because it's a fetus, to saying that it is wrong to kill a cow because it's a cow, to saying that it's not wrong to kill a cow because it's a cow,
Well, we
to
are
saying
not
that
a
it is
cow.
okay to enslave black people because they're black people, to saying
No,
it's not
no one
okay to
ever
enslave
said
black people
that.
because they're black people, to say it is okay to rape women because they're women, to say it isn't okay to rape women because they're women. We could just replace the word fetus with anything, and then the word kill with anything, and then the term okay with not okay, and then all of a sudden we have your argument. We could just apply it to anything. Like, okay, like you said, it's wrong to kill the fetus because it's a fetus. Okay, are you a vegan?
I really only eat beef.
So explain to us why you think the argument it's wrong to kill a fetus because it's a fetus is valid, but the argument it's not wrong. Sorry, it's wrong to kill a cow because it's a cow is invalid.
I mean, I don't think killing cows are great. Like, I wish we didn't have to eat meat, but we do. I mean, it's just...
Okay.
But we don't eat our children. Like, I don't understand that argument is dead. Like, I don't get that.
Because we're exploring the explanatory power and the justification that you are granting for the conclusion. Okay? I asked you why you think it's wrong to kill a fetus, and then you responded by saying, because it is wrong to kill the fetus. This is you saying that the reason why it's reasonable to believe... One moment. Wrong. This is you saying the reasons why it's reasonable to believe it's wrong to kill a fetus is because of what it is. Okay? Let me just try to ask this question in a different way. Why do you think the thing in which the fetus is makes it wrong to kill it?
Because it's a human and we should value every single human life.
Okay, so it's always wrong to end a human life?
Yes. What do you mean?
So self-defense is wrong?
I mean, no.
Okay, so it's not always wrong to end. Okay, well, if it's not wrong to end human lives under certain circumstances, okay, well then you don't believe it's always wrong to end human lives. And if you don't believe that it's always wrong to end human lives, then you saying it's wrong to end a fetus's life because it's human doesn't follow. You can't say that it's wrong to kill a fetus because it's human if you don't always think that it's wrong to kill humans.
I mean, I don't believe in the death penalty.
Dude, are you going to like
but if someone is trying to, I don't get what you're saying. If somebody is trying to physically kill you, obviously you're going to use self-defense. Like that's just human nature.
Oh my god, bro. Okay, this is my last try, dude. Why do you think our species gives us moral value?
I think moral value is just it's human instinct. It's for some people, unless you're a psychopath. I mean,
you're not. Can you repeat the question that I asked you?
No. Why,
dude? It was 5 words. Listen, I'll ask you again. Why do you think our species grants us moral value?
Oh, okay. I mean, I would say we're the superior species of this world.
So if it was not true that we were the superior species of this world, would we still have moral value?
Yes.
Then that's not the reason why you think our species gives us moral value. So I'll ask you again. Why do you think our species gives us moral value?
Because we're smart enough to know right from wrong.
Okay. So if it wasn't true that we are smart, would we still have moral value?
Probably not, because we would be more so on the animalistic side.
Perfect. Is a fetus smart?
I would say okay, so I would say no, but is a 1 or 2-year-old smart?
Okay, one moment. Then you don't think that a fetus has moral value?
I do.
But you just said if we weren't smart, then we wouldn't have moral value. Fetus not smart, therefore fetus don't have moral value.
Okay, but is someone with Down syndrome smart?
Hey,
no.
I think that people with Down syndrome can be smart. And
but most likely,
even if they weren't, this would just be a critique against your own fucking view that you're okay with killing Down syndrome people.
No, it wouldn't. I am not okay with that. That's like the opposite of what I'm saying.
I asked you why you think. Oh my God. Why do I do this to myself, bro? Why do I torture myself with idiots? Just like why, bro? Just like why? Why do I do this, bro? Just like why? Like, I don't have to do this. Like I just like can kick her. It's like we just like can move on. How about we just do that, bro? How about we just move on? Dude. Struggling out here, man. Just struggling, bro. Just struggling, bro. Just like how? Just like how could people be so unacquainted with reality? Just like how, bro? Carl, thank you for the galaxy. Like this is simple. I don't expect every person that joins our live stream to be like super intelligent. I don't expect every person who joins our live stream to be super knowledgeable. But like, come on. I do expect adults to be able to like grasp the basics of like critical thought. Like just the basics. Do you support Trump, Morgan?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
07.
What month?
December 20th to be exact.
Okay, yeah, let me thank a couple people, then the mic and the floor will be yours. Gentle Giant, thank you so much for the 20 Canadian dollar donation on Super Chat. That is a very kind contribution to the show. I'm very grateful for you, and thank you for supporting what we do here. Gentle Giant with the 20 Canadian dollar says, hello from Canada. Hearing the quote-unquote 51st state rhetoric is a little scary. A lot say it's a joke, but I genuinely wonder. It's amazing to watch my country come together to boycott American products and travel. Well, I appreciate you for the $20, Chris. Best of luck. Best of luck to you guys for real. FamCam, thank you for the $20. Who says, hey, caller who said that left relies on the government. I'm from a blue state that funds your beloved red states through our taxes, so y'all could continue to exist. You're so welcome. True, red states are relying on the government and blue states. Ryan with the $10. I appreciate you so much, Ryan. Let's get 100 Ryan W's. Thank you so very much. And then Chris, thank you so much for the $20 donation on Super Chat. Let's get to it. Chris W's, thank you for supporting what we do. I appreciate you for your donation. Chris with the $20 says, vegan ultra runner here who has run 100 miles under 13 hours twice. I'm the fastest in Gen Z. We don't need animals based foods to survive. People just like to have it. We could get all of our nutrition from plant-based sources. That's just true, dude. Like, listen, I'm not a vegan. I eat meat. But it's like, I acknowledge that it's completely true that you don't need to eat meat to survive. That is just such a low IQ take. And then Goblin Nuts, thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate you. And then Tanner with the 10 says, I love your debates and lives, and honestly, you brighten my day. Oh, I'm so happy that what we do here is able to brighten your day, Tanner. That makes me really, really happy. Thank you for the love and support. And then over on Venmo, thank you, Jamie, for the $50. I appreciate you, Jamie. Let's get 500 JVWs. That is very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. Genuinely, thank you so very much. Jamie with the $50 says, at the moment, I'd pay you to be your mod. Definitely need a way to screen the guests. Maybe up on mute while I check, then boot. I appreciate you for the $50. I'm sure that a lot of people would get satisfaction out of kicking some of these idiots. Amanda, thank you for the $10. Just calling the last guest dumb. True. Garrett, thank you for the $20. Who says, I travel for work and listen to your live almost every day while driving. Well, I'm so happy that you enjoy the live streams, brother. Shout out to you, Garrett. Thank you for the love. Let's get 200 Garrett W's. And then Maria, thank you for the $10. Who says, watching you has become a part of my grandma. My pet and my daily routine. She's glad that somebody in the younger generation is fighting for women's rights. Well, shout out to you and your grandma Maria. You guys sound very, very pleasant. I appreciate you so much for that love and support. Same thing to you, Chloe. Thank you for the $5. Mila, thank you for the $8. And we are all caught up over on Super Chat, as well as we are caught up on Venmo. I appreciate you all so very much for the love. Over on PayPal, thank you for the $10. Carmen, Carmen, who says, thank you for putting up with foolishness. You're changing life. Some people may just be listening and internalizing. Keep going. Thank you so much, Carmen. I really appreciate you. Allison, thank you for the $20, who says, I think that sticking to the bodily autonomy argument with forced birthers is more productive than debating moral value, TBH. Maybe so, because they just can't understand that conceptual of a conversation or the slightest because of how dumb they are. You might actually have a point. Thank you for the $20, Allison. Let's get to it at Allison W's. Same thing to SJ with the $14, who says, yes, my show's on while I'm relaxing. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well. SJ, good to hear that you are relaxing. Thank you for the love. And then one last one for now. Raina, thank you for this $17 donation, who says, Dean, if you remember me a while back, I'm the Eric Cartman account, and I told you I got clean for my kids. I still wanted to tell you that I'm still clean. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, Raina. Hell yeah. You are a really good mom for that. And trust me when I say that your kids will really thank you for that in the future. That is awesome. Thank you for the love and support, you guys. Why don't you go to take it away, Morgan, and tell us why you support Trump.
So the biggest reason that I support Trump, so I just got into politics. I'm obviously still young. And my biggest thing that I've noticed so far is the ICE. That is, well, I should say my favorite thing. So the reason I say that, and I want to bring that up too, because I've been watching you for a while. Like I've been, following along with what you say. And I love debating. I don't know, I just got into it. So I know the biggest thing that you say about Trump is that he is a rapist and he's done things, that aren't humane. My thing is that with the whole ICE thing and like the whole Biden being in office, when Biden was in office, he allowed immigrants into the United States. He had open borders. Those open borders allowed these criminals to get into the United States. And I know that not everybody came to the United States to cause violence. Some of them wanted to get away from their country and have a new life. That's immigration. But my biggest thing is that when these criminals came in, they were raping women and children. They were robbing. They were not only hurting people, they were hurting pets, animals, which I think is insane. And I would want those people out. and you saying that Trump is a rapist, and I'm gonna assume.
So just to clarify, you think that 98% of undocumented immigrants should be able to stay in America, then, right?
What was that? I'm sorry.
You think that 98 to 99% of undocumented immigrants should be able to stay in America?
Undocumented should not.
Because you just said that you want like the rapists, pet eaters out. Okay, yeah, they account for around 1% of undocumented immigrants.
Yes, I do want them out.
Okay, so then you're okay with that there 99% of undocumented immigrants staying here?
No, I'm not okay with that.
I thought you just said you want the ones out that are like raping women and like doing super criminal things.
Yes, I want all illegal immigrants out. I don't care.
What are the 99% of undocumented immigrants who wouldn't hurt a fly have to do with the 1% of undocumented immigrants that are like raping women and being bad criminals? I mean, yes. I feel like you just tried to attempt to make an overgeneralization where you're like, oh, because some of them are guilty of bad crimes. By the way, much less of them in comparison to U.S. citizens. Undocumented immigrants are 2.5 times less likely to engage in a violent crime on American soil. That therefore you're just going to overgeneralize all undocumented immigrants as being these super bad people and whatnot.
If people are coming to America to do good, they should come here legally. That is my take on it. If they are coming here to do good, which like I said before, not all of them came here to do bad, which is okay, but they need to come here legally.
Do you accept like the vast majority, and I mean like the vast majority, like 99% of undocumented immigrants came into this country not to do bad things?
Yes, and I want them to be here legally.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you accept that the vast majority of undocumented immigrants came into this country without an intention of doing something bad, then like, why did you start by generalizing them all as these like criminal rapists?
Because most of them are. Over 2 million. Over 2 million of them are. That is most. That's actually not. No.
Well, I mean, a bunch of issues with that claim. Even if 2 million undocumented immigrants were rapists, that still wouldn't be most rapists because according to Pew Research Center, there's 14 million undocumented immigrants in the country. And B, that claim is just statistically false. Around 2%, 1 to 2% of American citizens are violent criminals. And undocumented immigrants are 2.5 times less to engage in violent crimes than U.S. citizens, meaning that 1% or less of undocumented immigrants are violent criminals. But see, I want you to give me the source for that very bold claim that over 2 million undocumented immigrants are bad violent criminals.
RepublicanPolicy.house.gov.
Okay. So Republicans in the House have said this. Can you show me where they've said that?
Yes, it is under the domestic crime.
Oh, you actually want me to go to that website?
Oh, no. I just thought you were asking. Sorry.
RepublicanPolicy.house.gov.
Yes.
Okay. How about we go through this together? That seems pretty handy. We're looking for the source that says 2 million undocumented immigrants are violent criminals. Where do I go?
So you're gonna go to. Oops, sorry.
Oh my god, bro. Dude, as a web developer, listen, this website is fucking shit. They embedded
That's actually not how I got on that.
They embed.
Hier schwimmt alles. Keine Ahnung, Junge. Wahnsinnig. Scheiße, Junge. Mann! Wofür war das jetzt? Es tut mir leid.
Halt dein Maul, du Fotze!
Jetzt lass doch mal meine Freundin in Ruhe. Sag mal, spinnst du oder was? Also, dieses ungehörige Weibsbild. Na wirklich, also. Also ich muss mal. Scheiße, ich klebe überall. Ich war doch schon im Bett. Ich will doch gar nicht. Ich komm gleich wieder. Alles klar. Ach du Scheiße, hier schwimmt alles. Nein, das ist Steckdose. Ich mach auch noch mal kurz einen Keks dabei. Steckdose. Bis er wiederkommt. Steckdose. Ich mach kurz Musik an. Anstrengend. Ich mach ein bisschen Musik an so lange, okay? Ja, bitte. Ich bin nass zwischen den Beinen. Ich auch. Ich bin aber so unangenehm nass. Irgendwie. Achso. Liebe. Ja, das klebt richtig mit Cola, Mara. Ach, der Arme. Der Arme. Arm bin ich nur, weil die Cola jetzt alle ist.
Likely to be convicted of sexual assault than the overall Texas population. By the way, this is heavily refuted. The source for the refutation of this would be PNAS. And then it goes on to say that President Trump's Department of Justice released a report using 2018 data that showed 64% of all federal arrests were of non-U.S. citizens compared to just 37% in 1998. The flood of illegal immigration has indisputably gotten worse since the report was released. Also, non-U.S. citizen is not identical to illegal immigration. That could be tourists, people on visas, green cards, legal immigrants that aren't citizens, so on and so forth. In addition, our open border policy, our open border allows criminals who have already been convicted of previous crimes to gain access into our country. In 2023 alone, Border Patrol encountered thousands of illegal immigrants with prior convictions in the U.S. or abroad for assault, robbery, and sexual offenders, and also to 2 million known and unknown gotaways presumably include many convicted criminals. Okay. All right. So let's just get this straight, bro. You made the claim that over 2 million undocumented immigrants in America have committed violent crimes. And then your source says that the nearly 2 million known undocumented immigrants who got away in the country may include convicted criminals. So do you understand the difference between stating that every member of a group is a violent criminal and stating that this group presumably includes some people who may be violent criminals?
My biggest thing with that is that they were escaping. Do you understand that there's a big difference between those two statements? Yes, I do understand that.
Okay. So then when you said that 2 million undocumented immigrants are violent criminals, you were wrong, correct?
Well, there's no actual evidence to prove that every single one of those people who ran away, if you're running away from something, what does that mean? That you are most likely doing something wrong. If you are trying to, escape or trying to run from something or somebody that's going to catch you, that means that you're doing something incorrect.
Okay, so if a rapist is trying to catch you and you run away from them, you're doing something wrong because you're running away.
Okay, not if you're...
Okay, so you're wrong. Because what you just said is that every time person one is running from person two, person one did something wrong.
They were escaping the country because they knew that there would be consequences.
They were escaping the country? I'm confused on what you mean. Do you think
running? The people who got away, it said it in the thing, that got away.
What do you think a got away is? That means
that they knew that there was consequences.
What do you think a got away is?
That they left, no return, there was nothing about them.
Like left the country? Like left the US?
Yes.
So you're saying that a got away is
that
an
they're
undocumented
still
immigrant.
In here.
Wait, so a got away
undocumented.
So a got away is an undocumented immigrant that leaves the US.
That or they're still in here, but not found yet. That they got away.
Okay. Well, let me just clarify this for you. You're just like completely wrong.
Me if I'm wrong.
So a got away is just an unlawful border crosser who's like actively coming across the border that is like seen or detected by cameras or agents, but they're never caught, and then they move into the interior of the country, and then they're an undocumented immigrant in America. So you're just completely wrong with what a got away is. And B, I want you to fucking concede that you were violently incorrect when you suggested that 2 million undocumented immigrants are violent criminals because 2 million undocumented immigrants are gotaways.
All right. Can
you just admit that you were wrong? Like, are you capable of admitting that you were wrong?
No, because 2 million people who either weren't found or who
no. All that a got away is just an undocumented immigrant that comes into our country, but because we have really expensive detection techniques, or like picked up on a camera or a sensor. That's all that means. And you're saying that if you're an undocumented immigrant that comes into America and you're picked up on a camera or a sensor, that you're a violent criminal. Okay, so what is the violent crime that they committed?
Coming into this country.
That's a violent crime, bro?
I have seen videos.
I just want to clarify. You think
yes,
that
I have seen videos.
Yes, undocumented entry to America is a violent crime?
It is it's illegal. That's why they are called illegal immigrants.
But now you're obfuscating. No, I didn't ask you what is the possible crime that they're guilty of. And even then, that requires further adjudication, because in a vast majority of circumstances, undocumented entry is not a crime. And if it's adjudicated at all, it's adjudicated in a civil court, not a criminal court, meaning it would be by definition a crime. But that's not even what I asked you, nor is that what you said. You didn't say that 2 million undocumented immigrants in America are guilty of a crime. No, you said that 2 million undocumented immigrants are in America are guilty of a violent crime. And then your evidence was this paper that's just saying that there's 2 million undocumented immigrants that came into this country and were detected by sensors or cameras, and they're therefore quote unquote gotaways. So I'll ask you again, if you're not willing to admit that you were wrong, by the way, I just have no clue why you're unwilling to admit that you're wrong. Like, bro, you just are wrong. But if you're unwilling to admit that you're wrong, why don't you go ahead and specify to the, 36,000 people watching on TikTok and YouTube combined, the violent crime that these 2 million people are guilty of?
Can I ask you another question? Is that okay? I mean, listen, I can answer. So you're telling me to admit that I'm wrong. And this is the great thing that I like about politics, is that somebody can say this and, you know, they could be wrong, they couldn't be wrong. And, you know, whatever. I personally do not think that I'm wrong. It says there, 2 million people who, if they're getting caught on a camera, especially somewhere, if they did a crime and they got caught on the camera, that's illegal.
No, dude. Oh my goodness. Okay, then what's the violent? Okay, so you're not willing to admit that you're wrong. You still believe with conviction
and the violent crimes that they're doing.
There's 2 million,
robbery,
all those 2 millions that they were guilty of violent crimes.
Abuse.
How do you? How do you know that every single one of the 2 million undocumented immigrants have engaged in a violent crime? How do you know that?
We don't, and that's why I don't like it.
But you said that you do know that. No. You claimed. You said, Dean, there are 2 million undocumented immigrants in America who are guilty of a violent crime. That is you saying that you believe, okay, with reason, that they've committed a violent crime.
Exactly.
So, okay, so convince me that that's... Listen, convince me that's a reasonable... Listen, convince me that that is a reasonable belief to hold. Convince me that it is reasonable to believe that 2 million undocumented immigrants are guilty of violent crimes because 2 million undocumented immigrants were detected by cameras or sensors at the border. Convince me why that's reasonable to believe.
Somebody who is here can't speak English, who can't understand laws and rules, somebody who came here, who is coming here to do bad, it is wrong. It is illegal.
Have you ever sped before?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Have you ever sped before?
Sped? Can you clarify that?
Oh, wait, let me use MAGA language. Have you ever speeded before?
I've never heard of that before.
You've never heard of speeding before? Like in a car?
Yes, and actually I just watched a police body cam video not that long ago of 2 illegal immigrants who were doing over 100 miles an hour because they didn't know the speed limit signs and what that meant.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, because
they could have killed somebody. There was somebody
because you need to know English to read numbers. You should tell that to the Arab individuals that created the Arabic numerals, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, so true. But have you ever gone over the speed limit when you're driving your car?
Yes, but not felony speeding. Felony speeding is different than
okay. So you like engage in misdemeanor speeding. Okay, so yeah, this person. I wish I could say these people, but
somebody doing 5 over I guess it's just is not going to kill somebody.
I guess these people, these white Trump supporters, these people have no respect for the laws and have no respect for the rules in place because these people have committed a misdemeanor crime. Wow, bro. A misdemeanor traffic infraction. You broke the law. These people have no respect for our country. These people have no respect for our laws. These people have no respect for the rules in the book. You know what? Frankly, these people must therefore be violent criminals. You know, these people are violent criminals. They're very dangerous. They're very terrible. These people are probably going to rape your wife. These people are probably going to try to eat your pets and dogs because these people engaged in a misdemeanor traffic violation of speeding 10 miles over the speed limit.
Well, 100 miles an hour and a 35 is felony speeding.
Okay, why are we mentioning the fact that, yes, going 100 miles and a 35 is felony speeding? Yes. Where the fuck did that come from?
Because you were talking about a misdemeanor.
Yeah, just like undocumented entry is a misdemeanor. Silly goose.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're saying that because they committed that misdemeanor, they just have no respect for the law, they have no respect for the rules, they have no respect for a country, and are therefore
it's
probably
not even
a
about
violent
them
criminal.
Respecting it, they don't understand it is the problem.
Okay, then tell me why they're 2.5 times. Okay, bro. You're just so fucking stupid. Okay.
And also,
wait. First question that I have to clarify. So I asked you why you believe that all 2 million gotaways at the southern border were guilty of violent crimes, and then you said it's because they're guilty of a misdemeanor crime. Okay. Wow. And that was a great argument, by the way. So here's my question. Then why don't you believe that all undocumented immigrants are violent criminals? Because they're all guilty of that same misdemeanor crime. So why are they therefore not all violent criminals? Because wasn't it your justification for why the 2 million gotaways are guilty of a violent crime?
Yes, they're all criminals. I'm not out, dude. You
continue to equivocate. Are they violent criminals?
Yes.
Oh my God, bro. Okay, you know what? Check this out. Quick question, ma'am. Is Trump a violent criminal?
Okay. In what scenario?
I just want to know. Is he or is he not? Just inform us all.
Like I said before I even started this, I'm just getting into this. So
you should get out of this. You should get out. You should take the first off ramp from the interstate because you're bad at this.
But
is Trump a violent criminal?
I personally don't think so. But can I ask you some more questions?
Shut the fuck up. No, because I need to speak before you could ask me even one more question, Morgan.
Okay.
Let me get this straight. You could rape a woman. You can be accused in the Epstein files by a survivor of Epstein. You could violate the Epstein Files Transparency Act over 1 million times. You could be found guilty of 34 felonies. You could be found guilty of violating the Civil Rights Act. You could be found guilty of defrauding a bank. You could be found guilty of defrauding your university. You could intentionally conceal classified documents at your private estate in Mar-a-Lago. You can attempt to overturn the outcome of a free and fair election in 2020. You could be found guilty of, I think, over 1,000 lawsuits. You could rape your ex-wife according to her allegation. You'd be credibly accused by 40 plus people. You could boast about sexual exploitation and barging into the dressing rooms of naked women and girls to look at them while they change. Okay? You could send Epstein a letter depicting the naked body of a little girl saying that they have all these things in common and that Trump wishes Epstein next day to be a wonderful little secret without being a violent criminal. But then you're telling me that an unaccompanied minor who stumbled across the border at 3 years old, okay, and then got split from their parents is a violent criminal. What the fuck are we doing? Have you ever heard of this cool thing called using your goddamn brain? Genuinely, I am flabbergasted by your ignorance, and I talk to Trump supporters for 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I am flabbergasted. Specifically flabbergasted by your ignorance in a way that I've not been flabbergasted by the ignorance of a guest in a very, very long time.
Well, going along with that, do you support your government?
Do you support responding to the argument that was given to you?
No, I'll respond.
That was asked for you.
Because this goes with the response. Do you support your government?
I support my government when it does good things. I don't support my government when it does bad things.
So you can say that about anybody. Somebody who is a Biden supporter, somebody who's a Trump supporter. I could be supporting Trump right now. He says one thing or does one thing. Okay, I'm out. He does another good thing. Now I'm back in. What you just said doesn't make any sense.
You're equivocating. A government is not an individual person. A government
is a group of people.
A government is a collective of individuals with power dispersed co-equally amongst the three main branches constituted by various independent agencies and groups. There are some parts of the government that I do support, like, for instance, firefighters, like, for instance, National Park Service, like, for instance, wild firefighters, like, for instance, forest services. There are some instances of the government passing a bill that I support, like, for instance, the Civil Rights Act, like, for instance, protecting gay individuals' rights to access to marriage through the Supreme Court, like, for instance, Roe v. Wade. Okay, but then there are many other aspects of my government that I do not support, like, for instance, when slavery was legal, like, for instance, continual imperialism overseas. Okay, so when you ask me a question about a massive conglomerate that constitutes many different individual parts and then subparts under those individual parts, I wouldn't be able to tell you in one word that I do or I don't support my government. Okay? But individual people are not massive conglomerates made up of different parts. They're just one person, okay, with one continuous decision-making process, with one continuous mind and one continuous body that I can make very easy and obvious moral judgments on, and I am more than happy to say that I don't support Trump because he's a rapist. But what you're not responding to is the fact that you said all undocumented immigrants are violent criminals in virtue of the fact that they're undocumented immigrants. It doesn't matter if they're a hardened gang member who have raped 5 people or a minor that was unaccompanied and then left at the border. They're all violent criminals. Have you been able to articulate the violent crime that they're guilty of? No. Have you been able to articulate what you think a violent crime even is? No. Have you been able to articulate why you think they're all violent criminals? No. And then I hit you with a point of hypocrisy where, like, oh yeah, these unaccompanied minors are definitely violent criminals, but then you don't think that the rapist is a violent criminal? You don't think that the sexual exploiter that boasted about it and called it funny is a violent criminal? You don't think the guy that was credibly accused in the Epstein files is a violent criminal? You don't think that, like, the literal criminal who's been found guilty of 34 felonies is a violent criminal? And I want you to address these very important points.
Okay, so with Trump, there are things that I agree with and things that I disagree with. Those points that you just brought up, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be the president of the United States, a senator, a governor, a mayor, or you could be an American citizen. Anybody who who rapes somebody is bad, right?
That Trump is bad.
No, if somebody
But you just said anybody who rapes somebody is bad and Trump has raped somebody.
Okay, yes. But also, too, those illegal immigrants have also raped many people. Does that make them any better or any less? Because the way that you...
Oh my motherfucking God.
The stuff that you say...
Oh my motherfucking God,
the biggest point that you bring up is that Trump raped somebody.
Bro,
okay.
We're doing it again, bro. We're doing it again, bro.
There's other people who have raped somebody. It is bad. It is insane.
Wow, man, there's more than one rapist. Absolutely. I can't fathom this realization. I can't fathom this realization that there's more than one rapist. You were just exploding my brain and making me reconsider everything that I've ever thought. Bro, I don't give a fuck if it is a rich white man that is a rapist or an undocumented immigrant that is a rapist. All rapists deserve less than what they have. Feel free to interpret that statement however, and I mean however you want. Okay? But the point is, okay, to say that you don't think Trump is a bad person, even in consideration of the fact that Trump is a rapist, because the immigrants are too, is fucking mindless. Okay? Because if you're suggesting the standard that if one person in a group of people is a rapist, that you shouldn't care if there's other people who are too, well, then we shouldn't care that some undocumented immigrants are rapists because Trump is too. Oh my God. No, how are you going to respond to that one?
We should care
how
more.
Are you, oh, we should care more if an undocumented immigrant is a rapist?
No, I'm saying...
You're saying that we should care more if Trump is a rapist?
About everybody.
Okay, would you ever make a rapist? Would you ever put a rapist, undocumented immigrant in a position of power?